Good Sunday, everyone. My name is Robert Fry. I'm a senior forecaster here at the National Weather Service Office, New Orleans, Baton Rouge. I'll be completing your weekly weather briefing for today, Sunday, October 6, 2024. So let's get started. Taking a look at our situation overview, the good news is we're in store for a fairly quiet and dry period this week. A cold front will usher in some slightly cooler and drier air into the region either Monday or Tuesday, and that will last through the rest of the week. So you have warm days where temperatures do warm into the lower to mid 80s respectively, but crisp nights with mid 60s south of the lake, north of the lake, and north of I-10-12. We're looking at overnight lows that may actually fall back into the lower 60s and maybe even as low as the middle 50s up toward the Macomb region. So not too bad. We're getting into autumn here, or maybe summer light, depending on how you look at it. Outside of that, we are watching Tropical Storm Milton down in the Bay of Campeche. Indirect impacts are going to be mostly limited to our area to the marine side, with some gusty winds and some higher seas out there, especially across the open Gulf waters. Some minor coastal flooding with the easterly fetch, the easterly flow right along the Mississippi coast and right into the eastern facing coastline of southeast Louisiana may see 1 to 2 feet uh, of above ground level there during high tide. So we'll take a look at that. The center of Tropical Storm Milton is forecast to move into central Florida as a major hurricane early to midweek this week. So that's again looks to be more of a central Florida problem. But again, we will have those marine and coastal impacts indirectly here in our area. So again, Tropical Storm Milton currently got winds of 65 as of 10 a.m. It's moving east southeast at around 6 miles per hour. As you can see, it is forecast to become a hurricane later today and eventually a major hurricane by 7 a.m. Tuesday as it starts moving more toward the Florida Peninsula. So again, indirect impacts here locally, limited to marine, where we'll have small craft advisories due to the high seas and gusty winds, as well as that minor coastal flooding in those eastern facing beaches. Speaking of coastal flooding, here you go. Minor coastal flooding, 1 to 2 feet above high tide, especially again those eastern facing beaches there in Hancock County and the eastern facing beaches there of southeast Louisiana, including Shell Beach. This goes through Tuesday, maybe needs to be extended. Looking at some of the recent guidance here, it may need to be extended through beyond Tuesday, but we'll take a better, clearer look at that as we start the new work week. So that will be one of the limited hazards that we will have from this system indirectly. Speaking of hazards, let's take a look at our day 3 through 7. Not much around our area. Of course, you get the heavy rain potential there, Florida Peninsula, some excessive and hazardous heat across the desert southwest. But all in all, it's going to be a quiet week for us mostly here as a cold front moves through early in the week, which again will shift us into more fall-like or summer light weather. Speaking of temperatures here, days 6 through 10, the long range, equal chances for above or below average temperatures, mostly below across Florida and southern Georgia, South Carolina areas. But a big ridge is going to take place across the Intermountain West, leading to above average temperatures across much of or at least 2/3 of the western part of the continental U.S. As far as precip, rainfall for the next 6 to 10 days, not looking at much here, folks. This is very typical for autumn in our area and across most of the southeast, actually. So not looking at too much in the way of rainfall coming into the day 6 through 10 period. So once again, our summary of impacts. A dry period is expected this week. Again, the cold front's going to move through. The only impacts that we'll be watching locally, the indirect impacts from Milton, will be the small craft advisories, the higher seas for the open Gulf waters, gusty winds offshore there, and again, that minor coastal flood potential during high tide cycles, at least through Tuesday, maybe even beyond into Wednesday and Thursday during those respective high tide cycles. So that's all I have for you all. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on X. Reach out to us if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or criticisms. We'll be here happy to field those for you. Otherwise, everyone have an amazing week.